Hello, friends. Cole here with another midweek message from Selkirk United Church. It's September 2nd today as I record this. I want to start with a word about all of our children and grandchildren going back to school. I'm thinking about all of them this week, all of you, as you get prepared to go back to a very different reality, or maybe some are already back depending on where you live. Some areas like Selkirk have been quite fortunate with very low numbers of the COVID-19 virus, at least so far. So maybe the worry isn't quite at the same level as it is in some other places. But all of our young people have, like the rest of us, been faced with a disruption in their lives for almost half a year now, even longer in some parts of the world, and it can't help but have affected them. So I just want to encourage all of you, whether you are a young person watching this today with your parents or grandparents, or an adult or senior with children or grandchildren returning to school, or an aunt or an uncle or a neighbor to some children, let's all do our best to make this as safe and as positive an experience as we can, no matter what rules and regulations are in place in the different schools. Let's be kind to each other. There are so many opportunities to be kind to one another and to try to understand and offer support and listen and reassure. Watch for those opportunities. And let's also continue to pray for each other and to ask God to be with us, with all the children as they return to class or to online learning in some cases, and all the teachers and administrators too. God is with us all, just as God has been with us from the very beginning. From the very beginning of this pandemic and the very beginning of time. God is one that we can always turn to with our thoughts, with our prayers, with our questions, with our worries. I hope that you all take some extra time this week and as the weeks go by to think about ways in which we can be God's agents of peace and wisdom and hope and kindness. And say an extra prayer or two for God's blessing on our young people and for wisdom and patience for all of us as we figure out ways to help them through this time. The other item I wanted to share with you today is something that I read in the latest edition of the United Churches magazine, Broadview. It's just a short little article written by Anglican priest Cole Harton, who serves a church in St. John, New Brunswick. The article is entitled Places to Rest. Let me read for you Reverend Harton's words. As a priest, he says, I regularly meet with members of my congregation. Last year, I visited a couple in their 80s, Syl and Marilyn Nordstrom. Our talk turned to the church, how it seems to be ebbing away. It's sad, Marilyn said. It's not like it used to be. Syl spoke up abruptly. Things are going to get better, he said. We need the young people to take over, and they are. Look how they stand up against climate change. They are not afraid to fight for what's good. The conversation paused. We prayed. As I was tidying up, we made small talk. Have you ever seen a monarch butterfly? Asked Syl. He told me about how the insects' numbers have dwindled with the destruction of trees, and how he and Marilyn planted milkweed in the backyard to give them a new place to gather. That first summer, we had 3 butterflies, Syl said. This summer, you know how many monarchs we had? Probably over 300. It's amazing how nature works. They just needed a place to rest. He paused. Here, come with me. He led me to their kitchen, and there on a paper towel was a dead monarch, glorious in orange and black. He must have been left behind, Syl said. When he's all dried out, he's going in the front page of my Bible, and I'll give that Bible to my son one day. Later, I thought about frustration, loss, and the way this couple had hoped despite it all. Syl articulated something deep, not with an abstract argument, but by pointing to earthy images. It was like he was saying, look, if I can do something to help bring back the butterflies, think about what a younger generation can do to restore the church. The church is resilient, but the church needs to be tended with care. People, like monarchs, need places to rest and to find solace on their journey. Isn't that a hopeful story? I think it is. So much we can learn from each other, young and old alike. And God is with us through it all, past, present, and future. Thank you for tuning in today. God be with you, peace be with you, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.